This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Let's go ahead and open up the doors to our Zoom room. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. So excited to have you here with us. If you are watching one of the live streams and you would like to join us for, really being a sponge, taking in the whole effect that being live in a Zoom gives, where you can truly listen, pay attention, and turn that chat on, because lots of information is shared in that chat that goes through as Marilyn is dictating and doing the transcription. I don't know which one's the right word, but she does what she does really good and putting that into the chat. So we just want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to encounter the full effects of Daily with Doc and Becca. Well, today is our Monday show where we have Dr. Cara Ringland on with us. She is the owner and operator of Body Temple Health. She is offering the holistic approach to health and wellness, and she specializes in iridology and doing eye analysis, where her slogan is self-care is an active state of self-love. So with the Body Temple Health, she is dedicated to promoting self-care and well-being. And with that dedication, she knew nutrition was super important, and she found that the longevity products were the missing link that she had been looking for to add a full holistic approach in her own practice. And I'm super excited to be able to have her join us here on Mondays as she is sharing her gifts to help us learn more about what we can do as empowered individuals to help ourselves. And she is also offering her services as an iridologist. So if there's anything that you are curious about, make sure that you check the chat. You'll get information on how you can contact Dr. Cara. And Dr. Cara, tell us the website real quick, or the best way to get a hold of you, as I am bringing Dr. Cara Ringland to the screen with me. Thank you so much, Dr. Cara, for being here with us on Daily with Doc and Becca, and today you're the doc.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Thank you so much, Becca. It's always a pleasure. Yes, today is a magnificent Monday. So we're going to go into looking at the eyes and how they reflect inflammation. So, and if you had any questions, again, I'll go ahead and answer them specifically here, and then we can dive deeper.
So, Dr. Cara, as we're looking at the eyes, I mean, you've said it, and I did it as a mom when my kiddos were little. You could look in the eyes and see when somebody wasn't feeling well.
Yes.
It goes deeper than that. I mean, that's like the first intuition of somebody not feeling well. But there's so much more to the eyes that the eyes tell us. They're like the window to the whole body, not just the window to the soul, but the whole body. And I love the fact that you are bringing that aspect, that modality to Daily with Doc, because so many people go to the doctor, they get this test, this test, this test, this test, this test. None of the tests that add up to a lot of money are giving any answers.
Yeah.
But you look at the eyes, and the eyes are just one more avenue that other realm of wellness or sick management doesn't take into effect. So, why did you choose iridology?
Well, it chose me. So my story with iridology is I actually went to an iridologist when I was 21 because I was dealing with health issues, and I had chronic autoimmune issues, digestive problems, skin irritations. I had hives, and I had been to the doctors. I'd done the prednisone. I've done all the things, and I was still not getting well. And they still had not looked at nutrition for me. So I ended up going to see the local naturopath who practiced in iridology, Dr. Cara Ringland, and she invited me to be her student. So I did a 6,000-hour clinical internship with her as a naturopath's assistant and apprentice, and we did all things there from blood work, urine work. We worked with a chiropractor, osteopath, massage therapist, colon hydrotherapist. We had an incredible team up there. And she also worked with Dr. Gary Young with the Young Life Research Company at that time in Utah. So we worked with clinical aromatherapy. So that's another big facet of what I bring to the table, is looking at the eyes and finding solutions. So if we think about what, the study of the eyes has been long into history. Even Hippocrates wrote about it, saying, behold the eye, behold the whole body. Even in the scriptures, you see in Luke and in Matthew references to the eyes being like a light unto the whole body. And when we bring light into the eyes, we see wellness. And just like what you were saying, Becca, when our children, our pets, they have that glassy, weepy eye, then we get a real clear idea. They're not feeling well, and they don't have the words or the languaging to be able to express that. Now, throughout history, we discovered, though, that there's a series of issues that seem to show up in the eyes, and they've been tracked now for hundreds of years, this map. And so much like the hands and the feet, how you have reflex points, well, the eyes actually have an associated map as well. And so this is my little cheat sheet. But so when we
actually
look
have that,
oh, you do.
So bring that others see that as you talking about it as well. So Ruth Ellen, if you could put that up, please, with the iridology chart.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Thank you. So as you can see, it's really quite detailed. Now, when we go into a brief understanding of the eyes, they're like, as you were saying, the windows to the soul. Well, why they reflect so much information is because if you look at the development of the iris, of the eye, Within 17 days of gestation, 22 days, the eyes begin to take form, okay? And it extends off of the autonomic nerve or the central nervous system. So as the spinal column gets developed, the eyes are the first thing to come off of the spinal column. They develop from that time all the way up to 31 weeks in gestation. And at that time, they're able to dilate, they can pick up light, okay? So the eyes are actually, what I see, they're being knit within the womb. And they're being generated with all of the genetic information from the central nervous system. So a lot of it's based on what your family experienced in their lifetimes. So if they were sickly or if they broke an arm, if they were really stressed, all of that's going to come into the next generation, including good nutrition. So what we've also been looking at is the study of epigenetics, and that's why we love Dr. Wallach. His book is one of the first that really pushed the edge here in the US and around the world for looking at ourselves as having choice versus feeling like victims of our genetics. So instead, we use this map to be able to analyze and assess the fabric of the iris, the patterns, the textures, the colors, even the shapes and the pigments that you see within the eyes are all very divine messages to you as a being of how your structure is, genetically speaking, how you process information even as a personality, how you deal with inflammation, how your organ systems are set up for predispositions to strengths and weaknesses. So this science, this study, has been worked on now for at least 200 years with our learned scientific approach. Prior to that, thousands of years has documents of using the eyes as an assessment tool. And like you said, Becca, it's non-invasive. It's not poking and pricking, and it's also looking at the whole body. A lot of the times in our allopathic world today, we go to specialists. I mean, you go from one specialist to another. And even in my history, just a few years ago, I dealt with Hashimoto's storm, and I found myself at an endocrinologist and then over at an allergy specialist. No one was talking to each other. And that part is what's so hard to see. My grandfather was considered the high priest of health in the state of Nevada. He was the good doctor, the coroner, and he ran the entire health department for 36 years in Las Vegas. He walked around with a black bag, okay? He worked with his patients. If someone was sick, he pulled over on the side of the road if there was a car accident. He was the old style of doctors that we have lost in a lot of ways with the bedside person-to-person conduct. And to have one doctor who knows everything about you, your family, they used to come to your home because they could actually see what was going on there too. If there was food or issues or maybe sanitation problems, the doctors came to make sure you were well, okay? Even in Asia, in different countries, the doctors were paid if their patients were well. They weren't paid if their patients were sick. Something was going off if they weren't able to address their patient's health. So today, in the field of iridology, we really zero in on prevention. We zero in on preparation for people who want to have children or who want to raise healthy children. We can actually be contributing to our future generations with intention by making sure we get the nutrition that we need. So since the 1940s, our food has been industrialized. And because of that, most of our food is denatured. Now you go into the soil. Okay, Dr. Wallach has done a lot of research on soil. The deficiencies in the soil has directly contributed to the deficiencies in our food. Even food that is grown with love is grown on centuries of pollution now and of deficiencies. So what I find is so beautiful is to find people who are advocating for wellness from the ground up, literally. It's about getting your brick and mortar, all of your ingredients for wellness, because our body is designed for homeostasis. We want to be healthy. All of our cells replicate almost every single day. If we give it the right nutrition, they can replicate healthy cells. So Susan Weed, a renowned herbalist, spoke about every 7 years, you have regenerated every single cell in your body. It's a longer, slower process, but it's lasting. So you can rebuild from the ground up. You can regenerate your cells. You can hand healthy genetics down to the next generation. And if you already have children, you can help them build up their bodies and maintain their strengths and support their weaknesses so they can prevent illnesses. Today, we're seeing illnesses in young people that only the elderly had 50, 70, 100 years ago. This is tragic. This is predominantly due to malnutrition. Not only that, but high toxicity. Okay. And so what we've discovered is we are inundated with chemicals and toxins from the moment we open our eyes, from the moment we are born. Most of us in hospitals, we're coated with chemicals all over the skin. We're put into incubators far from our parents oftentimes. Breastfed is rare today. Most children are on formula. If you look, you don't have to look hard to find that there's all kinds of class action lawsuits against these formula providers for creating digestive disturbances and problems for the youth of today. What comes from nature is 100% designed for us naturally. So in this world, we are like saturated with these issues. And now we have electromagnetics. I have some clients that nervous systems are so inflamed, a cell phone turning on in the room gives them a headache instantly. So what is this? This is high degrees of heavy metals, fungus, bacteria, possibly parasites. We have metabolic wastes of uric acid that's getting deposited in the joints, tissues, cells, the organs, the blood, the lymphatic vessels. And we get bigger. We get inflamed. We get pain. We get weepy eyes, congestion. We might have sinus problems, headaches. So the medical system is usually treating symptoms of what is really a malnutrition issue coupled with high toxicity. Okay. So if we can get down to the ground level, we can reinvent the soil from which our bodies grow from. And that's why in my book that I co-authored with Christine Maxwell, we go into depth of this. It's called Awaken and Become a Tree of Life. Always be cleansing. It's the ABCs of self-care, because the word cleansing has been thrown around so much in today's world that it's lost its power. It's kind of like the word sorry. I'm cleansing. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not really giving the focus that it deserves. So cleansing to me is a daily housekeeping chore list. You got to wipe the counters, sweep the floor, get the laundry up and in the hamper. Okay, that is supporting your natural elimination channels. That's your colon, first and foremost. The bowel needs to be moving every single day. If you are eating, if it goes in, it's got to come out, folks. You can't just keep putting things in. You can't just add clean water to a dirty cup and think that the cup is clean. Would you drink out of it? No, but we do that with our bodies day in and day out. And a lot of the times we kind of think that if we drink and eat enough good stuff, then we can reverse all the bad. And in my case, my health issues got so chronic that I was doing all the good things. I was trying everything, even with the dieting. I tried every single ketone and cleanse, and it was all the nutrition, but I did not do a deeper detoxification. And so my body was still reacting to the heavy metals and the toxicity that was going on in my body. Okay. So anytime we want to zero in today on the signs of inflammation. Okay. Most of us have been kind of deadened or numbed to listening to our body. Our body is speaking to us every day if we take the time to notice, to be present. So what I find with this practice of self-care, it is a practice of presence. And doesn't matter what faith or spiritual beliefs you come from, it is a divine sense of presence, integrity, and accountability. When you start to really listen to your body and start to eat for your nutrition versus your pleasure. And let me tell you, I love good food. So I'm not saying you got to put your taste buds on a shelf and eat granola for the rest of your life. No, this is about finding something that's in balance. In today's practice, and especially with all of the support from somebody like longevity, who can help kind of transcend and cross some of these harder paths, because it's hard to keep up with your health in today's world. It's not designed to support it. Get up, get in the car, run to work, make sure you get there on time. Now you got to answer the phones. Where is self-care in this particular schedule? All right. This is something that we have put off. We make ourselves last. We can handle it. Okay. I'll get to me later. But in all actuality, if you get on an airplane, what do they tell you? First thing they tell you is if you need oxygen, put the oxygen on you first so you can help the other people around you. That's what self-care is. It's our oxygen. It fills our cup. All right. And so what we're going to talk about today is looking for the early signs of inflammation so you can reverse it with just a few simple self-care steps, especially as seasons start to change. We all think a cold or a flu is coming in, but oftentimes those quote symptoms are showing us that our body's out of balance. It's just needing a little bit of support so it can get back to its homeostasis, right? So first things first, usually it's mucus that shows up. So especially people with blue eyes are more prone to having mucus-related issues. And let me tell you, I have the blue eyes and I notice it instantly if I have too much dairy, wheat, or sugar. Those three are the primary inflammatory foods, all right? And I'm talking the pasteurized, homogenized, over-the-counter kind of milk. There's good milk out there. I suggest if you want to go into looking at raw milk, organic, grass-fed, that's a beautiful situation. Yesterday, though, I was driving up the I-5 through the slaughter yards, and whether it's dairy or beef, it's horrendous to see the living circumstances that these poor animals are kept in. The filth. I mean, we couldn't even see because of the blackout of dust, which is really just manure in the air. And when I was driving through it, I was just thinking about this is the food sources that our people are being given. Okay, raise a cow in a field. oh, with a happy, creek and some friends to play with, and there's no dust because there's plenty of grass, that's an entirely different situation that we're dealing with. Anyhow, that's just a side note. But so back to the iridology and inflammation. First off, what we notice is mucus. And mucus is usually the very first sign that you're going into an acidic condition. So acids build up in the blood if you're eating really acidic foods. Did you have a question, Miss Becca?
I was just going to say, when you're ready for us to show those anonymous eyes, just let us know.
Yes, please. So we'll go ahead and pull these up. This is a client of mine. And this person actually, as you can see, has what we call a pterygium. So this is, it's kind of in the center. It's a growth that starts to grow up over the iris. Now, this is advanced signs of inflammation, okay? This usually starts from a small collection of collagen and fats in the cornea. And then through sun and sand, it starts to get inflamed. So they call it a surfer's eye. But what we've discovered is this also shows different signs of inflammation for the liver. So whenever we see any kind of yellow in the sclera, or what we call is a pinguecula, which is a little kind of blob of fat in the iris, or the white of the eye, the sclera. This shows that the liver has not been metabolizing fats very well. This shows oftentimes a genetic predisposition to having liver issues. Now, if we wonder why, what is so important about the liver? Well, it is a filter. So it filters your blood. It filters the blood and removes uric acid from the blood, and then distributes it out through the colon, the kidneys, and the skin. So what we discover with iridology is that there's 3 primary eye colors, each governed by a different system. So when they become acidic, they end up having more problems. So like I was saying, the blue eyes, we deal with lymphatic congestion when we go into an acidic state. So that it usually is sinus problems, skin problems, joint issues, lung congestion. Now, if you look at a mixed iris, like this iris, this is considered a biliary iris, which means that it's not a true brown or a true blue. It's mixed.
Dr. Cara, let me try something real quick so that the audience in the Zoom can see as well.
Okay.
So see if this is gonna work. So
Perfect.
if I add, no, it didn't work.
Doubled it.
But folks, there you can see the eyes that Dr. Cara is referring to here in the Zoom room. So if you are here live with us in the Zoom, you can look at the gallery and then right click on the image and that shows this with Dr. Cara next to it, and you may be able to pin it. So with that pin, then you would be able to see what she's talking about with her next to it.
Perfect. Well, and this eye is so unique because of the colors. So you see how so much of the color is close to the pupil in the center of the iris. That is the digestive system. So this person deals with a lot of digestive issues, liver congestion. And so what's interesting is she can use these eyes as a roadmap to keeping her better into her health. So colon cleansing, and this isn't just once a year. So the way I look at it is cleansing is your daily housekeeping. Detoxification is your seasonal cleansing. And I know that for those who have more chronic conditions, it's suggested to do it more frequently. And I have hybridized ideas so that you can do it without losing weight. Of course, detoxification can assist with weight loss as well, because inflammation is swelling typically. Just like if you were to twist your ankle, you would get swelling there. So when we find that we may be gaining weight or having swelling, it's because our body is inflamed. So there's another sign that we've gone acidic. Okay, so we might have some more mucus, we might notice some weight gain, we might notice some pain. Suddenly your elbow is hurting, you don't know why, or you've got a lung issue and you're starting to cough. Well, again, these are all your biofeedback saying, hey, we need some self-care. All right. So how do you reverse some of these conditions as they start to pop up, and especially as the seasons change? Again, I mean, we've got school coming back soon. The kids are going to be headed in. You know, we're going to get the sniffles coming in and out of our homes. So what do we do to protect ourselves? Because if you have, it's kind of like an aquarium. All right. If you've ever had fish, if it's pH'd properly, then the aquarium stays pretty clean and the algae doesn't really grow in there. And the fish has a beautiful ecosystem. They all stay up on it and everybody stays healthy. So what we really know now in the science of natural medicine is to stay pH'd, stay alkaline. Okay. So one of the best ways to alkalize is using funny acidic tasting foods like lemon, lime, apple cider vinegar. Now, one thing that we've discovered is that the body actually reacts to the acidic flavor and creates an alkaloid. So that's how you get yourself to go alkaline. So Dr. Wallach has the apple cider vinegar gummies, which I actually have been promoting with a lot of my clients. There they are, due to the fact that they actually, well, for one, they're travel friendly. Because let me tell you, I've been all over the country this last month, and carrying around bottles and bags of your lemons and all your stuff to make your things and your quart jars, it's a lot. So having the gummies has been really helpful for being able to take care of myself on the go, because I can't be in a monastery, you know, or like most people who have the luxury of self-care, they're usually at home or in a retreat center. So what we want to do is bring the retreat into our homes. There it is, the apple cider vinegar gummies. And these are really great for children. So talking about going back to school, let's get our kids on these programs, okay? Because they're the first offenders when they're out in the schools. The schools are the most likely to be in contact with all kinds of virus and bacteria. So let's get their immune systems really strong so that they can handle it. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a good time of year to do a colon cleanse. Okay. Anytime basically from August through November is a great time of year to consider doing a colon cleanse. So I know Dr. Wallach has an incredible product. He has the 30-day colon cleanse, which is always a good start because it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for your body to start to regulate. So for instance, if you're allergic to wheat, you need 3 weeks to get the wheat protein out of your body. Okay. So you can't say, oh, I don't see any results after a week. Well, it's because your body is still reacting to the gluten or the protein that's still in your bloodstream. So colon cleansing for 30 days, it's most advised so that you can get the residues out and really start to feel the benefits. And while you do that, I suggest doing simple foods, vegetables, steamed or raw, smoothies. Try to keep your sugar really low. Okay, blended. If you really want to amp your system up, you can do a blended juice fast, or you can do blended soups. That just takes the pressure off of your stomach because, as we know, our stomach does not have teeth, and most of us do not chew our food properly. So that brings us to enzymes. Okay, so you really want to work with keeping somebody in a state of homeostasis. Make sure they have enzymes with their meals so that they break the food down properly. If they're not breaking it down properly and assimilating it properly, then there's residues that are going to get deposited elsewhere. And so when I studied blood work, we actually did enzyme therapies and could see results within the blood relatively quickly. And a lot of it was pain results that we were working with, pain management. So pain actually is from uric acid crystals usually being settled in the joints, making it kind of crunchy and it hurts. So you want to dissolve those uric acid crystals. The best way to do so is alkalizing and do those gummies. I say doing them 3 to 5 times a day if you're really wanting to do a big cleanse, okay? And that's going to keep your aquarium pH level instead of spiking properly in the morning and then dipping down, right? You want to keep it level throughout the day. Now with the enzymes, I love the Ultimate Enzymes because he has formulated them to have the pancreatin in there and hydrochloric acid, which is the very first enzyme to meet your food in your stomach. And this is where most indigestion starts, okay? So learning about digestion and understanding that there's 3 different steps, actually 4 if you include really chewing your food, okay? So chew your food, make sure you have enzymes so your stomach can digest the food. Then you have the proper enzymes through your pancreas. So let's support the pancreas. Today's world, we're into too much sugar, way too much sugar. We have way too many cravings for sugar, which is usually because we're feeling rushed and unhappy in our lives. So we're craving something sweet, okay? Self-care is the active state of self-love that can actually give you the sweetness without the trigger of the excitotoxins and eating something sugary, because those calories injure you ultimately, okay? You have to think about this. It doesn't matter if it's organic sugar, doesn't matter if it's fruit, it's still glucose. It is going to spike your blood sugar depending on how sensitive you are. You need to be aware of that. And in today's world, in the iridology, there's a lot of blood sugar signs that we see today because of 3 and 4 generations of eating processed sugar. Okay, it's just kind of part of our program now here, especially in the United States. So sweeties is one that I found works really well. Okay, it actually will help balance the blood sugar and reduce the cravings. Okay, because the cravings are a whole nother beast than the actual results of eating the sugar. That craving comes when it's emotional. Okay, so that's where when we look at nutritional, we also need to look at the emotional, guys, because how our body's digesting is showing how we're digesting information. How are we feeling? If you're always waking up, oh, I don't feel good, maybe there's a correlation to your mental and emotional health, okay? And we all know that the gut, they call us the second brain, or maybe it's the first brain. So let's take care of our gut. That's from here, from our stomach, everything can be either roses and fruit of our labors, and we can feel good in our lives, or we can feel heavy, depressed, angry, sad, okay? It all comes from the stomach. And that's why when we look at my book, for instance, Awaken and Become a Tree of Life, the roots of the small intestine are much like the roots of a tree, okay? The villi. If they can't absorb the nutrition that you're eating, then you're wasting it for one, and you're not going to be creating this healthy tree of life. Now, if you look at a farmer or a gardener, anytime that you're cultivating, okay, if you have a sick tree, it's usually because it was not enough nutrition, okay? Or the roots were coated with some kind of calcium deposits, or maybe some kind of fungal issue, okay? Get to the roots if you want healthy fruit. You go in, you cleanse those roots, you fortify them, you feed them properly, and they become disease resistant naturally. You don't even have to spray them with a bunch of stuff. And that's what I see with the human body. If we're giving ourselves the building blocks to be healthy trees, healthy humans. We do not need to be constantly treating symptoms. Okay. So yes, symptoms occur. Yes, they make us uncomfortable. Yes, we need to go see our physicians. And again, I have to state, I am not a licensed doctor. I am not here to diagnose, prescribe. I am only here to be a teacher, as the word doctor originally meant. Okay, I can teach you about your health and how to advocate for your choices. And I believe get your baselines. It's really helpful for a natural health practitioner to be able to look over your blood work and help you find a plan that works for you. Any questions, Becca?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Cara. And folks, she is a naturopath. Different states have different requirements, which with her being now in the state of California, working on those requirements. So we want to make sure that that is clear, that she is, yes, a naturopath and does practice as a naturopath in certain states. So but thank you for the clarity, just to keep everything legitimate in this. Well, I'm not there in California anymore. Yeah. But yeah, life is crazy everywhere we go. So there are some questions, Dr.
Okay.
Cara. One of the questions is, when you look at the eyes, can you tell if it's male or female just by looking at the eyes?
Absolutely, you actually cannot. That is one thing that is really unique. Is we are you cannot see the gender. There are in the map areas where the reproductive organs are. So obviously, with a male, it would be testicles versus ovaries, for instance. So, but beyond that, the only way we really can tell from a photograph is if by chance there happens to be makeup involved. And then in today's world, that doesn't necessarily mean much anymore. So,
Oh, goodness. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the events of yesterday. That was quite different. But another question.
yes.
So on some eyes, on the whites of the eyes, there looks to be like a eye booger. It just does not go away.
Mhm.
What
That's what I was
causes
talking to about today. It's called a pinguecula.
pinguecula?
It's kind of like Dracula. No. um, but it basically is a fat deposit. So it's fat and collagen cells that were not able to get eliminated, and they deposited in the cornea. So this is not an iris sign. This is a corneal sign. And this is in the sclera, or the whites of the eyes. And like you say, looks like a little blob. It's usually closer to the nose. We don't see them as often on the temporal side, but once they arrive, they're showing you that your body's not been metabolizing fats very well. Okay, so working with the liver.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense, because one of my clients that I'm thinking of right now no longer has a gallbladder.
See, yeah, and that's probably because years back, and and the client may have inherited this from a family member. So the suppressed liver over time, eventually the gallbladder will just give out. So they'll remove the gallbladder, right? But the thing is the body still needs enzyme support. So we really, people who had like this kind of a procedure done, same with pancreatic issues, really need a lot of enzyme support so that they can still process foods, and really making sure they get the lipases in there with their enzyme blend, because that'll help process the fats in particular.
Right. Okay, excellent. Now we have another question, and folks, if you're here live with us and you have a question that relates to the eyes, or a health issue that could maybe be determined within looking at the eyes, please raise your hand, as that is part of today's program and every day's program, as we try to leave time at the end of the show for questions from the audience. Now, this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. If you were invited to this program by somebody specific, we want to make sure that you get back with them. As Dr. Cara is mentioning, there's a few products that really do create solutions to health issues because they're giving the body what it actually needs. Those solutions can be found on our website, dailywithdoc.com, but the person that invited you is your point of contact when reaching out, looking for help in getting the products that are mentioned, or finding out what exactly it is that will meet your health goals. So get back with the person that shared this program with you. Tell them thank you for sharing this program with you. And folks, you know, a lot of people will take and go looking for the cheapest way to get products. Well, there's other places out there, but there is no guarantee that those products are authentic. There's no guarantee on their freshness. So if you get something that is not meeting standards, there's no guarantee on them. So make sure that you get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank, we do have a call team available to help you pick the right products specifically for you. Their coaching is included in their, you know, when you choose to make a purchase. And so the call team is for those who have never, tried the products before. If you're already on products, you get back with the person that is assigned as your associate, your distributor. They have a vested interest in helping you get what you need. So with that being said, I just wanted to have that clarity that we are here to help you get what you are investing in with the best quality and freshness. Now, Dr. Cara, another question that is on, and AJ wanted me to mention that the call team does help everybody, okay? Our team is kind of unique in many ways, as we do have a heart for others, no matter where you're at. And we do make sure that you get back with the person, especially if you don't know what your preferred customer number is. If you know your preferred customer number, we're able to help you place that order. Otherwise, you can take that information to your health coach and say, this is what I need. So,
well, and I wanted to speak to that real quickly, because if you send your eye photos into me, I can help you tailor that plan alongside of your coach. So you work with your affiliate, you work with your coach, you go back to whoever has signed you up under them in the longevity line. I'm just here to help make sure that every purchase you make is targeting the condition that you want to address. So you're not spending a ton of money on unnecessary products, and you're actually really zeroing in. And let me tell you, I've worked with a lot of companies over the years. I've been a HABA specialist in health food stores, buying from all kinds of brands, okay? My teacher, Dr. Carol Geck, worked with longevity all the way back in the 90s, okay? This has been a reputable company for a really long time. And the coolest thing for me as a consumer, but also here on this show, is getting to know the back end of this company. It's real people, it's real connections that really are here to work for the client, for the wellness. And that's why I'm here today, because I don't have any interest in working with soulless corporations. So I want to say thank you, Becca, for all of your energy that you bring to longevity and this whole team. It really feels like you're being held with a family who genuinely wants your wellness, not necessarily your money. Let's just find you the right products that work for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And folks, if you want to send in your eye photos and hire Dr. Cara for her services, email her at cara@bodytemplehealth.com. That's correct, right? Cara.
Yes. In fact, my website just went live, bodytemplehealth.com. So you can find me there as well and make easy contact with me.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Now, we have an individual that's inquiring about glaucoma,
Yes.
wanting testing. So the individual with glaucoma, they've had several surgeries for the glaucoma, 94 years old. Now, is this something that can be identified early on through iridology? And I know the answer, but let others hear the answer. Is glaucoma a nutritional deficiency condition?
Wonderful. I'm so glad that you brought this one to the table because it's becoming more predominant, especially due to screen time. We've got a lot of younger people. I've got several clients that are in their 30s and 40s who are suffering with optic nerve degeneration and the glaucoma. So yes, this is one of those things. That's why I wanted to target what we can see in the eyes as signs of inflammation, because iris itself is your thumbprint of information. The colors, the textures, the patterns don't really change. However, the whites of the eyes do change. The pupil, you can see changes in. And so with the glaucoma, when you have an iridologist look at your eyes, you can see if the pupil is slightly milky in its color and its texture. So this is actually showing that there's calcifications going on in the optic nerve. Now, what is calcification? Well, it is when minerals come out of solution. A lot of the times it's either from synthetic minerals and vitamins that we may be exposed to also. So we have to think about that. Most of it's from being unassimilated. So the best way to keep things in solution is to give it enough water, number one, and make sure that water has the electrolytes in it so that it's absorbable, because that salt, that sodium that makes our tears taste salty is what keeps minerals in solution. And then having the right calcium and magnesium, silica, B vitamins, and collagen is what builds the nervous system. It actually builds all connective tissue. We're entirely, if we were like 3D printed, we're made of connective tissue. So those are the ingredients to build that. And so, yeah, I would do even the hair, skin, nails might help because that's a lot more of that connective tissue support.
So connective tissue, which also includes minerals.
Mineral deficiencies. Yes.
Yeah. And we have an individual that's asking about hair analysis and how if we do hair analysis. Well, we do not currently offer hair analysis, but Dr. Wallach through Wellness Publications has a company that they use where the cost of the hair analysis is $100. It's been $100 for the last 6 years. It has not changed. You go looking elsewhere, and you're looking upwards of 150, 175, over 200 to get the same analysis. So I highly recommend that you get in contact with Wellness Publications. You can reach them at 755-4656. And if you have Dr. Wallach's book, if you don't have it, you should get it. Rare Earths Forbidden Cures. In chapter 10, there is the instructions on how to collect a sample and where to send it. And don't forget to include the check. Yes, they do take checks or money orders, as they will not process it without it. And they will get the results back to you in a nice report. So, folks, you got iridology, you've got hair analysis, and you've got a company that offers solutions to correct nutritional deficiencies, whether they're vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, amino acids. All of these different things contribute to poor health conditions. In fact, there's over 600 different poor health conditions, dis-ease, that are directly linked to nutritional deficiencies. And chances are, if your health is going in a direction that you don't want it to go, it's nutrition that is missing, not a pharmaceutical. So we want to make sure that people are getting the information that they need to help themselves. And we have professionals like Dr. Cara, Dr. Laura, Dr. Mitchell, pharmacist Ben Fuchs, that have this training on that medical spectrum and bringing it to us with information that we can utilize for no cost.
Yeah.
And it's because they have that heart of wanting to help others and see people thriving in society. I know for me, and I'm sure for you as well, Dr. Cara, because I know you've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been doing a lot of traveling. And my body aches for people. My heart aches for people as I see them struggling.
Yes, especially the babies, you see them crying and you just know that they're starving, yet they're being given sugar and video games and they really need minerals.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing about, witnessing that something's going on and interrupting and redirecting. But folks, when it's mineral deficiencies and there's no or vitamin deficiencies within even that little being, they're going to be happier. They won't need to have all of this external stimulation to try to redirect the fact that their bodies are starving. And it's not starving for calories, it's starving for nutrition. And people have asked me, well, what's the best appetite suppressant? My answer, minerals.
Yep.
Pica, which is cribbing, which is craving, unsatisfied craving, is because of the lack of minerals. You correct?
Well, I quit biting my fingernails, thank God, to all the minerals. And you think of these things, I mean, most grown-ups, my mother always said, are just 3-year-olds on the playground without a parent. And think of what we're seeing with all of the rage and the emotions that are really inflamed right now in our adults is due to a lack of minerals, malnutrition, their brain is inflamed, they're highly toxic on top of it, so they're in pain, and they're lashing out. They're saying and doing whatever because they're like a child that's having a tantrum, and they have no idea that that's what's the problem. So they've got a whole story about you and the world and everything around them. So, nutraceutical is key too, because just adding it in with your food, if you're in high states of deficiency, which mind you is from 3 to 4 generations now of deficiencies, you need heavy doses just to get your bank account to zero. And if you want to start investing in your wealth, you need more. Okay. So we need to make sure you're getting high doses. That's why the apple cider vinegar, take them 3 to 5 times a day. Don't just take them in the morning. You need to use these minerals. You need to use these nutritional aids to really get yourself boosted up out of the hole, so to speak.
Yeah, and my son is 12 and he loves them. It's, there's some kids that are just so picky. That's something I don't have to fight with him to take. And he'll take his stuff knowing that, it helped mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we can do, folks, as individuals, as parents, as grandparents, and helping even our kids, our grandkids have healthier, happier childhoods where they're not having to deal with tummy issues.
Yeah.
There's supplementation specifically designed for the kids with probiotics enzymes, all built in, everything synergistically working together. So you don't have to fractionate nutrition.
Mhm.
Get
And when
back.
you need to treat a symptom, yes, get some echinacea or something from the long list of immune support. But let's look at the nutrition first. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you work on the foundation. All of those side things seem to fade away. But once you're on the nutrition, give us 90 days. 90% of what you've got going on will not be affecting you or part of your list of symptoms anymore.
Mhm.
Get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there is no one to thank, we do have a call team of certified holistic health coaches. I'm very picky on who I allow on this call team, who I have part of the team. And the first thing is, one, they have to be more interested in other people's health than a paycheck. The more people that we're able to help, then yes, the paycheck does increase. So if you have a heart and want to help people and would like to be part of a supportive team, we invite you also to join us in this crusade, one, to help ourselves, two, our families, three, our communities, and together we can help make a healthier world. So we are out of time. I just saw a hand pop up, so we apologize. We don't have time to get this, as we are doing radio as well, have to stay within a time frame. If I could get my co-hosts up with me, that would be great and fantastic, because we could not do this without them. We have Marilyn, who's doing a fabulous job putting things into the chat. We have Sherry, who is part of our tech team, who helps to get the stream rolling and keep it rolling. We have Ruth Ellen, who is pushing the Zoom to the stream so that everything is staying on task. She's also my executive production manager and helps to keep us all organized. We have Albert joining us from South Africa, allowing people to come in, keeping an eye on chat and such. Thank you, Albert. And we have AJ, who's responsible for all the different platforms that we are able to stream to broadcast on. So let us know where you are catching our broadcast from by sending us some love, subscribing to the channel. If you have questions or you'd like to get connected, we have got questions at dailywithdoc.com. You want to be part of the team, you can call our team at 855-949-3377 or send us an email at info@dailywithdoc.com. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Cara, I know you have a busy schedule with all that you have going on. We thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and giving it to us, investing in us, because of the heart that you have in wanting to be like your grandfather, that doctor that truly cared.
That's right.
I respect him greatly, and I love the fact that he instilled that in you. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you for joining us here on Daily with Doc and Becca. Join us next time, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time at dailywithdoczoom.com. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.